After the house arrest Bible study, I was struck with the need to continue Bible study online. We still have a good many people who are staying home as much as they can, worshiping from there, and all kinds of things, working from home if possible, even going to school at home. And I want to make sure that the Bible study end of what we do at Community Mennonite Fellowship does not diminish just because we have to stay apart a little bit more. We had our house arrest Bible study on Philippians, and I heard some good feedback on that. And I wanted to continue talking about the Bible online. So I'm approaching the Song of Solomon. Now, to begin with, everybody I've told that I was going to do that has been a little bit surprised. People are reluctant to talk about the Song of Solomon for obvious reasons. Let me encourage you to take some time, even hit pause on this recording and read the Song of Solomon front to back. It's not that long, only 8 chapters long, and if you read it from beginning to end, it won't take you that long. It's good to get a good solid overview of the book. So let me encourage you to do that before you delve too deeply into this study. But even if you choose to read the Song of Solomon after you've listened to this recording, you shouldn't have any trouble because we're not going to delve right in. I want to talk a little bit about the history of the interpretation of the Song of Solomon. Ancient Jewish sources see it as a picture of God and his people Israel. The early church saw it as a picture of Christ and the church. A good bit later, people started seeing it as perhaps a picture of Christ and the individual believer. In the 1800s, people started seeing this, saying things like, well, you know, this reads a lot like a drama. Maybe we should be seeing it as a dramatic song. And it's only in the last 50 years or so that people have begun seeing this book just for what it appears to be. A song about the love between a man and a woman. A love that culminates itself in a marriage beginning in chapter 4. So I'd like to approach it that way. I know it's a little embarrassing, and in many ways I'd rather do this online than in person because I expect I'll blush a little bit as we go along, but I hope you'll bear with me and that we'll learn something. Because I'm approaching it as a love song doesn't mean that I want to ignore what people before have said. The fact that people see this as a song about the love of God for his people, the love of Christ for the church, means that we can approach the love that's expressed in here with a great deal of respect. It is a righteous love, a holy love, a love between a man and a woman the way God intended it to be. So that's what I want to do. I want us to approach this and ask the big question: what should a love between a husband and wife look like? How can we approach it for all of its beauty, for all of its passion, and for all of its righteousness? What did God create married love to be like? To that end, I want us to just think about a little bit the characters that are involved in this story. We immediately think of Solomon. Solomon, of course, being the king. He's mentioned in this song. But the real question is, who is this woman? You see, the song is actually written from her point of view. While we hear Solomon's words, we hear her thoughts, her dreams, her emotions in a much more rich context than we hear the king's. And so Solomon writing this book, if he wrote it, is writing it from a feminine point of view. Some people have even argued that perhaps it was written by a woman about Solomon. So who is she? She's obviously a Shulamite, and that word, it gains a lot of attention on its own, and we'll talk some more about that later. But the word has a bit of a relationship to another word, Shunammite. And that word is used to describe a young concubine virgin who was brought in to help keep David warm at night. She became the object of desire between two men who were vying for the throne after David's death, one of those men being Solomon. And so her name was Abishag. I have a tendency to think it might be her, and the reasons for that will become clear as we go. As you read the story, as you read the song, notice how the point of view shifts. Modern translations actually give you some clues who's speaking at which time. whether it's the man, whether it's the woman, whether it's the chorus, who is known sometimes in the song as the Daughters of Jerusalem, or even others. Pay attention to that. It helps orient you as you go through the story. And we're going to be following a model that helps us to see it from that point of view. Finally, I just want to acknowledge that thinking about structure and thinking about poetic devices and all those things can obscure the beauty, can obscure the complexity of good, true poetry. And I don't want to take the time to do that. What I do want to do is acknowledge that this particular song is graphic. I can't even imagine a contemporary Christian artist singing this song and releasing it on a CD or online. The church would be in an uproar. The church at large I'm talking about. They would just see it as lewd and inappropriate. But it is the picture of the love between a man and a woman the way God intended it to be. Right down to the wedding night, right down to describing the physical beauty of the husband and wife. As we approach it, I'd like you to remember that this is love as God intended it to be. It's not meant to be something dirty. It's not meant to be something obscene. It's instead meant to be something that instructs us, helps us to know exactly how God made us.